All right. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing out there? It is Monday and it is time for walking through the Bible. I am on today. Again, we're in 2 Samuel chapter 10, as well as First Chronicles chapter number 19 and Psalms chapter number 20. All right, so I'm looking forward to sharing with you all today concerning some stories that I deal with David and his growth of his kingdom and who he was and all of that. But what I want to, again, what this scripture is going to deal with today is going to actually deal with David and how, and I talked about this before when we've been on walking through the Bible, is this deals actually with how David was a very astute, how can I say this? A diplomat, right? Outside of Israel, David was a good diplomat, and so was his son. But his son kind of went beyond the measure. Solomon went a little further, which caused him to get into some kinds of trouble. But what David basically was again, David was very diplomatic. David understood that he served the God of the universe, the God of all Israel, the God who created the heavens and the earth. But he also did not look down on other kings. He still gave them honor or gave them, didn't demean them or anything of that nature. And that's one of the things I found so interesting about David was David understood like how to know who God was for him and who God was to everybody, while at the same time respecting other nations and not just going after other nations unless the Lord had put him to do so. And so, regards to this story deals with the people of Ammon. All right, and so the Ammonites, um, the father, the king, who was there, his dad had died. So Hanun was his son, and he had become the king. So David had good relationships with his father, and when the son had now taken over, David had sent men to go and just to pay honor. Like that's what I'm saying about David. David was so unique in that regard that he was willing to honor those outside of his camp, which is a good clear picture of today. Like even within church, even if someone doesn't go to your church or belong to your denomination or doesn't belong to, you know different things, like I think it's important to be able to be honorable to all people, right? Because I believe we understand that all people are made in the image and likeness of God. So we're all made in the image of God. I'll start there. Have the ability to receive his likeness. So with that being said, David does this and those men go, and when they go, the Bible is very clear that the people that were around this new king begin to give him guidance. Now, I think the people that were around him now, his advisors, more than likely probably were not the same advisors his father had, because if they had the same advisors, they would have understood what kind of person David was, the kind of character that David carried, who David was to him, and how their relationship was. But what happened was those new advisors told the king, this king is maybe coming to spy out. This king is coming possibly to take over or to see what's going on here. And David had no intent concerning that. It's interesting sometimes how intent can be mishandled or misused or misunderstood. That's the word I want to look for. Misunderstood, if it's not really vocalized or it's not expressed in the proper way. So people are basically, they're thinking that there was malintent of what's happening. And so David gets there, or his men get there, and what they do was they took away half the men's clothes. They cut half their beards off. And to do that in Israel, like, you understand, like, someone cuts my beard off. Okay, it's cut off. We're restarting. A beard was a thing of honor, right? Having a beard was of honor. So when they cut half of their beard, it was dishonorable. And so basically now David told them to wait in Jericho until your beard grows fully back, not to shave everything off, but just wait until it begins to grow back, because they were so dishonored. So David didn't want them to be ashamed in front of other people. And so what David decides to do is David decides to go to war against them. And so now the Ammonites, and the king realizes that he upset David. So they hire merchants, basically the Armenians, 20,000 Armenians, in fact, to help fight off Israel, them coming now to deal with them and going to war. And so this is interesting because, again, when God has put you in place, or God has anointed you to be able to do, not just be able to serve or to lead, but God had anointed David also to be a man of war. So when David goes out, again, the two brothers now, David's generals, one Joab and his brother went out, and they go out. And when they go out, before they go out, or before they actually go into war, they said something that's very unique and significant. When they went out to war, the one brother said to the other, Joab said to his brother, "If I am failing, or if I'm winning, or if I'm failing in the midst of this battle, I need you to come and help me. And if you're failing in the midst of the battle, I'll bring my troops and come help you." And I think that that is so significant because, again, it's not them just worried about where they were or what was going on. Hey, Tamika, good to see you. It was about the fact of them being able to join forces and to make sure that God gets the victory, right? It's about Israel getting the victory. So at the end of the day, it's not about who gets the credit or do you get the credit. It's I see you lacking, so I'm going to come help you. And if you see me lacking, I'm going to come help you. Why? Because we want to make sure at the end of the day that God gets the victory. So they get there and the people begin to scramble. They run away because, mind you, they were hired merchants. So when they ran away, once the word gets back to David, then David goes further to attack the Armenians. They begin to get into formation of war when they fled. But by that time, David and them have now come. They're still fleeing, but they're trying to form war. So it's a lot of chaos that's going on with them. But they ended up killing over 40,000 foot soldiers of the Armenian camp, as well as the Ammonites. And so, again, like I said, this is a story that's written in both chapters that we read today, Second Samuel chapter 10, as well as First Chronicles chapter number 19. So again, what are some of the main things I want to leave with you today? Number one, understand who's around you, who's like giving you the wisdom or the advice, right? That was so interesting because that advice that his advisors gave him actually brought a lot of death on his nation and a lot on his people. When all David was trying to do was honor and to create honorable bridges within the son now who already honored his father. So it's important to, again, make sure who's advising you, who's giving you conversations, who's giving you counsel, right? The Bible talks about having godly counsel. And they did not give him good counsel at all. The wisdom was lacking in the counsel that was given, which now caused calamity and different things to come upon his people in the midst of that. Caused them a great deal of money because they hired over 20,000 Armenians as merchants to help fight. And it also hurt the Armenians as well. And so all of this happened because he was misguided, miscalculated, bad wisdom that was given unto him. And so bad advice, because I wouldn't even call it bad wisdom, just bad advice that was given unto him. No sound wisdom at all given unto him in regards to the situation. And then secondly, we see the main thing that happened between the two brothers of understanding that they had one another, right? They covered each other in battle. They covered each other in war. And so I think those are the two things I really want to leave with you today in that. And then also we have Psalms 20. Psalm 20 is talking about may the Lord answer. David is singing a song that deals with us and us praying into the Lord and believing God's going to answer us, that he may answer us in our times of need, that he may answer us when we're moving forward and doing the various things that God has called and had us to do. So I'm going to leave it there. But again, those are our scripture readings today is again, First Chronicles chapter 19, 2 Samuel chapter 10, and Psalms 20. All right. All right. I appreciate y'all getting on with me today. I will see you back on here tomorrow. Again, we have a busy week here at KO coming up. Tuesday, do not forget, we have our men's fellowship. And on Saturday, if you would like to serve or help concerning our Mr. Outreach table, that we're going to be, again, giving out information concerning our program, Victim to Victor, and all of that too as well. If you would like to help, please, you can email or you can reach out to our sister Tamika Rankings, or you can email us at info@kochurch.com. All right. So appreciate you all. You guys take care and enjoy the rest of your day in Jesus' mighty name.